guys, so if you are an LGBT person of any age, you will know that things have changed so much throughout the last decade or two. They've changed so much throughout history, but I think that how present the internet is now, as well as just general changing views in the world, mean that being queer in high school now is very different to what being queer in high school was 3, 5, 10, whatever years ago. I wanted to chat about that a bit and to highlight how different things were when I was in high school compared to when someone older than me was in high school and when someone younger than me was in high school. To help me out, I've brought in my friends Gabby and Chandler Wilson. You already saw their faces here. Look at them go. Take it away, friends.
Hi, my name is Gabby from the YouTube channel Just Between Us, youtube.com/justbetweenusshow, and I identify as a bisexual woman.
Hello there, my name is Chandler, and my channel is Chandler and Wilson, which is my name. I identify as transgender and bisexual.
And if you guys don't know, I'm Fiona. Hey, what's good? This is my channel and I'm a bisexual cis girl. First question is, were you out in high school? If you were, how was it? And if you weren't, why not?
I was not out in high school. I mean, I was out to like one friend. I had a girl who I told at a Sweet Tomatoes in, I think, 8th grade. I told her by telling her that I had a crush on this other girl, but I was terrified of being out. I had a girl that I was into and she and I kissed one time in the bathroom, and then I think she told her friend, and I just remember getting like tunnel vision. Like the idea that she had told someone, I was like convinced everyone knew. I went back to class and was like scared out of my mind, convinced that the teacher knew, convinced that everyone was looking at me. I was just like sweating. I was so scared. And from that, I realized that I was like not ready to be out. And it really sucked because I really liked that girl, and like if we didn't live in a heteronormative society, she and I could have had a lovely high school relationship and dated, but alas, I was too scared. So I really admire the courage of people who are out in high school, because I could not. It also was a religious school. I was regularly hearing stuff about how like gay people were bad. I had friends who used lesbian as a pejorative all the time, and like there was a running gag where they would like call people lesbians, and I may have even like participated in that, honestly, like fully knowing that I was interested in women. So high school was great.
I was not out in high school because I didn't know that bisexuality was a thing. I went through high school being like, oh yeah, I like guys, and all my friends like guys, so I'm straight. To the point where I literally had the biggest ever crush on Lauren Lopez from A Very Potted Musical. And I said to my friend once, oh my gosh, like I'm so in love with her. I think she's so dang hot. Pity I'm straight. What? One of those things where all the signs were there, but we just never made the connection.
When I was in school, I kinda came out to myself, but I wasn't necessarily out to everybody, or at least I didn't talk much about my identity. So when I was 14 is when I first realized that I was transgender, but I kept that deep down inside. I think I told maybe like 2 people. By the end of me being 14, right before I turned 15, I went through a very confused part of my life where I was very angry at myself for being trans, and I was like, nope, I don't want to deal with this stress. I'm not gonna talk about it. It's not there. Who is she? I ain't trans. No. What? No trans here. I swallowed that deep down. It wasn't until I was about right before I turned 16 where I was like, nah, I'm pretty freaking trans. Just kept that to myself and a few of my friends. Could have been more vocal about who I was or about my identity. I wasn't straight and they were okay with that, but I feel like when I started coming out about being trans, that really confused a lot of people. I do feel like a lot of people didn't exactly know how to approach me or how to refer to me. By the time I came out as trans, a whole bunch of other people came out as trans, and the road to acceptance was a lot easier for us just because Xander had already paved that path.
How much did you know about the L and the G and the B and the T and the plus when you were a teenager?
I knew what a lesbian was, but I also thought it was a very bad thing to be. I knew it was bad. And I knew that it was a thing that people made fun of you for. I knew about gay, and I thought gay guys were all beautiful. I had watched like Queer as Folk. Anytime you saw like a gay guy on a TV show, they were always like super fit and handsome. So I thought just gay guys were like gorgeous Adonises. Bisexual, I knew because of the play Rent. I knew that Maureen was bisexual because she had dated Mark and also Joanne. I like kind of actually thought better of bisexuals than I did about lesbians at the time, because lesbian was used as such like a, ew, you're a lesbian, you're a dyke. Whereas like no one really made fun of bisexuals because I think most people didn't really know that that was a thing. But like I did because of Broadway. And then transgender, I had no clue. I did not know what that was. I don't think I even knew the term. I knew cross-dresser, again, because of Rent and because of Angel, but I had no idea what trans was. Did not know that that was a thing, did not know you could transition. I thought that like there were drag queens and cross-dressers and that was it. And I really did not even have the idea of trans in my mind at all. And this was in 2005, 2004.
When I was a teenager, I knew that lesbian and gay existed. I did not know that bisexuality existed, even though my boyfriend in high school was bi and he was open about it, at least in our close circle of friends. So I don't even want to think about how awful of a person I was, because if we broke up and he got with a guy, I was just like, guess he's gay now. So I was super accepting of gay and lesbian people. I was not really aware that bisexuality could actually be valid because I just heard people shitting on it so much. And I knew that trans people existed in this very like cartoonish version of what trans people are, sort of like a very high-pilled masculine person with a beard wearing a dress. And obviously that's so totally fine, but that was literally it. Didn't know about trans men. Trans men did not exist in high school, but I was always going to like gay pride parades and stuff, so I accepted them and I knew that they were real and I would never invalidate their struggle or anything, but I also just still had that very strong vision. Intersex, asexual, non-binary, forget it. That did not exist. And I'm really glad that teenagers now get to know about these things and get to understand so much more about the spectrum of gender and sexual identities and be more equipped to find the label that fits them today.
I knew a lot about LGBTQ rights and I knew a lot about LGBTQ identities just because I've been out to myself as being bisexual or being not straight in general ever since I was like 12. And so I knew quite a few identities. And when my sister came out as trans when she was 16, was also when I was about 12, 13, I went online and I was like, I'm gonna learn what this transgender thing is and I'm gonna learn how to be more supportive of my sister. I did projects about same-sex marriage as in 2015 when it was legalized by the Supreme Court. So I knew quite a lot about different identities and issues and like legislation that affects the LGBTQ community. I knew a lot, but I guess I was still weirdly not understanding of myself.
Do you think things are better or worse for teenagers these days?
I think things are much better for teenagers today because I didn't even know. I mean, imagine if I had been trans and I didn't even know that that was a thing you could be. I've seen teenagers tag me in photos on Instagram and their bios will say their sexuality and their pronouns, and I can't even believe that. That would have been the scariest thing in the world to me when I was a kid. So I don't know if it's like necessarily gotten way better in all parts of the world. I definitely think that there's more awareness and that people know from media and from other stuff that it's not chill to be homophobic and that it's like not, it's almost like probably not even cool to like be hateful, which is great. Access to the internet has given kids a lot more resources, a lot more availability of like queer sex ed, which I had 0% of. Like, did not even know what it would mean to be with a woman, did not even know what it would mean to be trans. I mean, I literally had no sex education other than like, you are getting pregnant and you are having babies. But now, if I was a teenager and I wanted to know about gay sex, I could just Google it. So that's incredible. Could also watch YouTubers who have the same sexuality that I have, and like I could see their lives and I could know that things were going to be okay. I mean, I was on LiveJournal, scouring LiveJournal for like blogs to follow of people that had lives that I wanted to emulate. So I like followed a lot of queer people just so I could know that queer people lived out in the world and were adults and were happy and existed, because I had like no proof of that. These kids today, they're so spoiled with being able to watch so many lesbian YouTubers. Do I sound so old? It is interesting because some trans people have said that they feel that it may have gotten worse for trans people just because now the mainstream knows about trans people, so they can start making regulations like bathroom bills and stuff. But on the flip side, when shit goes down at a school where they're not providing gender neutral bathrooms or they're treating trans students poorly, those stories can go viral and those people can get help, and I think they would have felt a lot more isolated back then. So I don't know, I'm of two minds on this. But primarily I lean towards the internet has been huge and wonderful for LGBT youth.
I honestly think that things are better now because people have the language to express who they are, which was not a thing when I was in high school. And I also think that people are generally more accepting.
I definitely think that it's a lot easier to be out as LGBTQ nowadays in schools because I feel like people are starting to learn who we are and understand what we go through and just what it means to be LGBTQ, whereas before being transgender was this super confusing idea. So I feel like people are starting to come around a lot more and are starting to understand how to deal with us and how to respect us. A lot of people who are hatred are also very vocal about their hatred and very vocal about how they don't support us. But ever since I was out in middle school, nobody ever really bullied anybody else about being LGBTQ. It was never really something that really happened. I mean, there were always a few people who would be obnoxious, but I feel like over the past year, people have become more willing to be vocal about their hatred.
And if you could tell high school you one thing to do with their gender or sexuality, what would it be?
I would tell high school me, You can have it all. I used to really want a boyfriend and a girlfriend, and I used to be so sad at the idea of that. And even now today, I mean, people will give me shit and be like, you're a bisexual stereotype because you're poly. P.S. I'm also poly. And like, fuck them, man. Teenage me would like high five myself, living the dream. I guess just that you're not dirty or wrong or bad. There's nothing broken about you.
Girls don't feel that way about girls. Girls kiss girls at parties primarily for boys. There's also nothing wrong with that, but that's their main motive. The fact that everyone else has 3 people that they turn gay for, and you're writing a short novella, I don't know. Pick up on the clues. They're all there, Fiona. And also bisexuality is real. I think that's the main one. Bisexuality is real, and that's you.
Be more confident in yourself. You're allowed to be yourself. It's okay. You're allowed to identify the way you identify, and there's nothing wrong with who you are. Also, it's okay to like boys, because everyone told me that I was a lesbian, and I felt that I had to uphold that. You like boys, that's okay. You're also not one, and that's okay. Tell people what your right pronouns are, and tell people to refer to you by them.
Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Thank you so much to Gabby and Chandler for being in the video. I will leave their links down below. They both have fantastic channels, so go check them out. I want everyone to leave down the comments below what their experience in high school was like. Before I leave you all, I want to give a quick shout out to one of my amazing Patron supporters. And this week it is TaterPie99. This is Taylor. They've been following me for quite a long time, and I'm obsessed with them. They are so sweet. So go follow their Twitter, TaterPie99, and their Instagram, JamieBowling314. If you're new, subscribe, give this video a like because you need your validation, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!